Welcome to Southside ISD, a proud public school district for all in San Antonio, Texas. Home to more than 6,000 students achieving excellence.
We are the best choice for education. As an award-winning district, we offer a Spanish medical minor program, CTE, and early college.
Community involvement to town hall meetings, summer movie nights, and our monthly food distribution is the key to our success.
We're the only district in Texas with a dedicated mental health facility supporting student success in school and life.
Southside ISD is driven by the teamwork of our teachers, staff, superintendent, and board of trustees. Southside ISD is strong, successful, and soaring to new levels.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this regular called school board meeting of the Southside Independent School District. Please let the record show that there is a quorum present. Jesse Hernandez present. Mrs. Brenda Olivares.
Present.
Mrs. Maribel Unger Robles.
Present.
Mrs. Katie Farias.
Present.
Mrs. Lisa L. Salazar.
Here.
Mrs. Mary Silva.
Here.
The time is now 6:01 p.m. on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. As President, I, Jesse Hernandez, call this regular meeting of the Southside Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. At this time, I'd like to invite Mrs. Farias to welcome our visitors and guests and to read our mission and vision statement.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us both here in person and those of you online. This week has been a busy week so far with homecoming coming up. We're excited. We've done really well in football lately, so go Cardinals. We're excited about that. If y'all didn't have a chance to, or if you did, the lighting of the S ceremony was fantastic. It's absolutely one of my favorite events that we do each year, and if you haven't had a chance to attend, you really need to, because it really brings our school spirit. It really shows who we are as Cardinals. So I just want to say go Cards for this week, and I hope everybody's enjoying the week and getting back into the swing of things. So thank y'all so much for being here. And with that, we'll move on to the mission and vision statement. Our mission statement: Southside ISD seeks to be the choice when it comes to providing a quality public education by upholding the highest standards of our core values. Our vision: Southside ISD will lead educational excellence by providing innovative programs.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mrs. Farias. Please note that this meeting is being held and has been posted in accordance with Government Code Chapter 551, State of Texas Open Meetings Act. If during the course of this meeting, the board should determine that a closed or executive meeting or session of the local board is required, then such closed or executive meeting or session can be held as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551. At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome tonight. We have Ms. Alejandra Rivera, an 8th grader from Lozoya Middle School, that's going to be leading us in the pledge. And if we can all please stand for the pledge and the presentation of colors.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Mark time, march. Forward, march.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. At this time, we'll move on to public comment, and we do have public comment today, so I invite Ms. Brenda Olivares to read our public comment section.
The board will now hear comments from those persons who have signed up to speak. Pursuant to Board Policy BED Local, at regular board meetings, the board has allotted for public comment regardless of whether the topic is an item on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Individuals who wish to participate during the portion of the meeting designated for public comment must sign up before the meeting begins and shall indicate the agenda item or topic on which they wish to address the board. Generally speaking, an individual's comments to the board shall not exceed 3 minutes per meeting. During the public comment portion of the meeting, the board will listen, but it will not engage in dialogue or debate with the speakers. The board has adopted specific complaint policies and specific procedures for presenting complaints. If the presiding officer determines that the presentation during this portion of the meeting is a complaint, he or she will respectfully ask that person to stop speaking and to use the board's adopted policies and procedures to have the matter heard through the appropriate channels. The board expects all members of the audience to behave in a polite and orderly fashion during this and all other portions of the meeting. Speakers who use profane, obscene, threatening, or abusive language will be ruled out of order and asked to discontinue their comments. Disruptive conduct will not be tolerated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Olivares. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Andrew Nicholas to the podium. Good evening, Mr. Nicholas. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Hernandez and the board of trustees. My name is Andrew Nicholas. Our family owns land next to the piece of property that's currently requesting a rezoning for a cemetery. Our property consists of roughly 100 acres as it stands today. I'm asking this board tonight to unanimously approve the resolution in opposition of this rezoning request. I think this board has a fiduciary responsibility to maximize the asset base of its community, which is the land in question, to generate tax revenue from that to support the school district and the school's functions. And I think this rezoning will take that land off the tax rolls, depriving this community of much-needed tax revenue to support its educational mission. And so that's why I asked the board tonight to support this resolution. I was at the last meeting. I heard the comments from this board. I don't believe that passing this resolution would send to the community that y'all are not in favor of community development here in this area of San Antonio. I think it's the complete opposite. Having talked to developers and the community, both of which want HEBs and grocery stores and sandwich shops and you name it, a cemetery is not going to support those businesses. Businesses are not going to want to come to this community when they don't have high-density residents to spend money on their services. And so in order for this community to receive HEBs and, sandwich shops and you name it, there has to be money to be spent. And unfortunately, citizens of our community who have passed away and that are buried are not going to spend $1 of money to support these businesses. And so there's no incentive for businesses to come to this community and sell their services. With that said, and within full disclosure, we have been in discussion with 2 other cemetery developers, one local, one out of state. And so, we feel that we could offer this community a competing service than what is currently being proposed. Now, I will add that our land is in the county. I don't need city council's approval to rezone land for a cemetery use. 80% of our land is in the county. I can develop a cemetery there, and then I can annex, or I can, the other remaining 20% that's within the city limits, will automatically be zoned a cemetery because it's adjacent to an existing cemetery, and I can expand my existing cemetery to include going from 80 acres to 100 acres. And that would mean that y'all would have 200 acres within your community zoned for cemetery use.
Thank you for your comments,
Thank
sir.
you.
Appreciate it. Next, we'll move on to Ms. Patsy Nicholas. Okay. Thank you very much. That concludes our speakers for today. Next item, we'll move on to item number 4, which is approval of our consent agenda. Please note that the following items make up the consent agenda, which consists of routine and non-controversial matters that will be approved with a single vote unless a board member requests a separate discussion on a specific item. Trustees have had the opportunity to review all supporting documents related to these items prior to this meeting. At this time, is there any discussion, or do I have a motion for approval of consent agenda items A through E?
Hi, I have a question. It's just a
Ms.
question.
Salazar?
Let's see, how many classes are we hitting the maximum or we're over?
22, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I have a follow-up question.
Ms. Morales Garcia?
By how many students are we over in those classrooms?
It's different in every class. For the most part, 2 or 3 students.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Mrs. Lisa Salazar makes the motion. Mrs. Farias seconds. Mrs. Olivares?
Yes.
Mrs. Anger Robles?
Yes.
Mrs. Farias?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales Garcia?
Yes.
Mrs. Salazar?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
Dr. Hernandez, yes. Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to our presentations and information. Our first presentation is the Campus Student VIP Award winners. Superintendent?
Good evening, Board of Trustees, staff, and community. This evening, we're proud to recognize students who have gone above and beyond in their attendance, conduct, and academic performance. Joining us to present these outstanding students are Ms. Rincon and Ms. Galego.
Welcome, Ms. Rincon.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, Mr. President, Board of Trustees, our superintendent, and families here and online. We thank you once again for the opportunity to introduce our stellar students in the VIP program. This is our first class for the 2025-26 school year. The Cardinal VIP Initiative is a collaborative between the Student Services Department and our Communications Department. It was developed in a way to recognize our outstanding students who demonstrate district-wide behavioral expectations. Each of them is nominated from campus leadership, and they demonstrate outstanding behavior, attendance, academic performance, overall spirit of being a great Southside Cardinal. And we are excited now to introduce each of these VIPs who model the student here at Southside ISD. And we begin with Menchaca. For Menchaca Early Childhood Center, we have Kalani Lino. Come on up, Miss Lino. And up next for Freedom Elementary, we have Charlotte Martinez. After Ms. Charlotte, from Gallardo Elementary, we have Giselle Garaswai. From Heritage Elementary, we have Abel Rodriguez. From Pierce Elementary, we have Albert Cabrera. From La Soya Middle School. Okay. Threw me off there, buddy. From La Soya Middle School, we have Alexandria Rivera. From Matthew Middle School, we have Isais Cabrera. And from Southside High School, we have Jaden Tovar. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our VIPs. Now, if we could all stand for pictures, and of course, they get a fun goodie bag.
it over.
Congratulations.
Good job, guys.
Good job. All right, moving on to item B, which is presentation on the attendance award. Superintendent?
Mr. Board President, to recognize the campuses with the best attendance for the month of August, we have our PEAMS Director, Ms. Sanchez.
Welcome, Ms. Sanchez.
We have new trophies and they're kind of heavy. Good evening, Board President, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Ramirez, and Southside community. Welcome. This evening, we're recognizing the August attendance winners for the 25-26 school year. So our first attendance winners for the year. Our first winner, we have, drum roll, La Soya Middle School. Congratulations, Principal Blackman. And for our elementary, we have Freedom Elementary. Congratulations. We have Vice Principal Badari here to accept it.
Congratulations.
Good job.
New school year. Oh. Ready? Big smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Okay, moving on to our next presentation, the 2024-2025 Southside ISD State Accountability Ratings. Superintendent?
Mr. Board President, districts have received their state accountability ratings for 2024 and 2025. While TA has not released the 2025 Texas Academic Performance Report, the TAPER report, Mr. Castillo will present the overall campus ratings along with the comparisons to the neighboring school districts.
Welcome, Mr. Castillo.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. President Hernandez, Superintendent Mr. Ramirez. On August 15, 2025, the Texas Education Agency released the 2025 A through F accountability ratings for public school districts and campuses across the state. Additionally, the delayed 2024 ratings have been made available to schools and the public following the resolution of legal proceedings and that had previously prevented their release after 2 years of lawsuit-induced delays. We would like to say that we are extremely proud of the hard work and dedication shown by our students, staff, and parents in the state accountability ratings. The rigor of the assessments and the heightened accountability measures have significantly increased, yet Southside continues to hold and even rise. In 2024, Southside ISD had an overall rating of an 80. As you can see here, we have 2 of the 7 campuses were C's, and we had 5 B-rated campuses, giving us an overall rating of an 80. We had, the lowest rating that we had was a 72, and the highest rating that we had was an 88. In comparison to the other 13 San Antonio schools, for the exception of one district, we outperformed all other districts. In 2024, we certainly made a lot of gains. As you can see, we had an 80, and we outperformed all those other districts listed there. In 2025, we continued with our growth and are also very proud of our students, staff, and what we have been able to accomplish. For 2025, based on our own calculations, we had the district rating at a 79.5. However, TA's calculation was at a 79.4, just below the threshold to round up to an 80. Nevertheless, as you can see here, we had 6 out of the 7 campuses earn a B, and only 1 campus had a C. So we had a 79, the lowest performing campus had a 74, and the highest had an 89. And here we have the comparison of our ratings with the neighboring school districts for 2025. In comparison to the 13 other school districts for 2025, we continue to close the gap with that #1 ranking district. We are only 5 points away from that #1 spot. In addition, while other districts continue to move up and down in their rankings, we have maintained and continue to outperform the rest of the districts within the San Antonio area. We acknowledge that we still have important work ahead. We are confident that we continue to focus, work hard, put in some effort, and most of all, with teamwork, we will see strong improvement this year. Our goal remains clear. That's to get an A for the district, and we are making steady progress toward that achievement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Any questions for Mr. Castillo? Great, thank you, sir. Appreciate the work. Okay, moving on to our next item, which is a presentation on the Freedom and Heritage drop-off pickup arrangements. Superintendent?
So, Board President, the pickup and drop-off arrangements at Heritage and Freedom have been updated to remove the traffic from 1604. Chief Berger will present the details of these changes.
Good evening, Chief. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Board President, Mr. Hernandez, board members, Superintendent. This was brought to my attention a few weeks ago. There were some safety concerns arised about the traffic on the 1604. So we quickly went to work, came up with a few plans. These are the plans that we came up with. Heritage, they will now enter they'll be entering the driveway that goes to the bus barn, maintenance, and police department. They'll go around the back, go around the school. I've witnessed this several times. There is no traffic on the highway. That is eliminated that problem for sure. And it's working out quite well. This next one is Freedom. We got together again with the principals, a few other people. We came up with this plan here. How we fixed this is we made 2 pickup and drop-offs for parents in the front. One on each side, one coming off 1604, and the other one, the second one off Leidecke Road. We were able to do this by changing the bus drop-off. The buses now pick up and drop off in the rear of the campus. Of the 8 buses, 7 of them enter off Leidecke Road and go in that way, and the 8th bus comes in on actually goes in the entrance, the exit door. Reason why we did that is because their first stop is on Leidecke Road. They can exit there in Leidecke. That saves them having to do all those turnarounds to come back. So we worked with them. Additionally, what we do in these both of the campuses, I'll walk over and show y'all real quick. What we do is we place each of the exits, we will place a patrol unit here with the lights on. Thus, additional visibility to help slow the traffic down. That also, we put that unit in that outside lane and that shoulder. It allows the people when they exit, they don't have to sit there and stop and hold traffic up, waiting for traffic to clear. Those outside lanes are clear for them to come straight on. Thus helping us clear out the traffic a lot faster. So, any questions?
Any questions for Chief?
First of all, thank you, Mr. Ramirez, and thank you, Chief, for doing that change. I I know I was telling you about the traffic. It was scary for me to drive out there because I'm always out in that area. And every day I drive by and I see that traffic, and all I kept thinking are about, I always think babies, but our students and our families. And now I actually drive by and I'm not panicky. And it's so nice because there's no traffic there. I see the police officers there with their lights on. So that's also good for the traffic that is coming down 1604. I'm still working on, with the city on getting the flashing lights. Hopefully we'll know something by oh, have you been told something? 'Cause I haven't got an update yet, but.
We've been working closely with TxDOT. It's kind of a funny incident. I've been talking to them since I've been here, and then I kind of got ghosted by those guys for a while. They wouldn't return phone calls, so we got on the phone together, myself and Mr. Monreal. We made a couple phone calls, and the gentleman that you know how it is when you make the calls to these big government deals, you kind of, well, let me send you to this person, they send you to, you don't get to talk to a real person, you're always talking to a machine. So when we finally got to the person, it was the gentleman that quit calling me back. He said, well, I'm Mr. So-and-so. I said his first name, and then he realized, I got caught. So he come up with several ideas. Well, if you can give me a copy of your school academic calendar, that when we know can set them up, when the school starts. So I sent him that. And I made sure I put it in an email this time, and I copied the superintendent on it, and they didn't answer me. So I sent him another email today. I was just going to be a pain. So he did answer me, and they have passed it on to their other engineer to do traffic surveys.
Yeah, the one that I've been dealing with is with Phyllis Villagrán's office. What's the gentleman's name?
Sal.
Sal. Okay. And I saw him, I think it was at the back to school. He says, well, email me. He goes, I can't do much about heritage, but he can help us with freedom because that's in the city.
Yes,
but they have started investigation. They said by November it should be completed. So hopefully you hear something. So,
they gave me another engineer's email, so I'll be bugging them also. I'll stay on top of them, keep poking at them, make sure they answer us.
I'm really happy to see the change.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other questions for Chief? Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Nice update. Moving on to our next item, review of financial statements for August 2025, Superintendent.
Mr. Board President, Mr. Carrales will present the finances for the month of August.
Good evening, Mr. Carrales. Welcome.
Good evening, Board President Hernandez, Superintendent Mr. Ramirez, and members of the board. Before I get started, just kind of an update of where we are from the financial side. Is we were able to get the 25-26 school year opened. It opened on the 2nd. Of course, the 1st was a holiday, so that was the first opportunity we have. So a big thank you to Dahlia for doing a lot of work to make sure that was open early for everybody. Also, staff did receive their 5% raises in the September 5th payroll. Once again, the 1st was a holiday, so there was a lot of work to do, so a big thank you to HR. 4%, what did I say? 5%, oops, 4%. Thank you. So anyway, big thank you to HR for helping us get the 4% ready.
He can write checks from his personal account.
Man, can't believe I said that. So anyway, big thank you to HR, and the payroll was able to get that done, and we were able to get those raises into the first paycheck that we actually had.
Ms. Salazar, you have a question?
Was that what you were recommending, a 5% and we missed it?
No, ma'am. Don't put me on the spot. I'm gonna be beat up after the meeting.
I just throw it out there.
I don't think I've ever seen this color.
Yeah, I'm feeling it, trust me. Okay, so moving on. Auditors have been here for, the auditors have actually done some pre-work already in the audit, and then they will be back October 27th to help us start closing out the year for everything else we have. Our hope will be actually to present the audit in December, so we'll be busy starting October 27th to get the year closed out. Looking at the financial reports, the timing of this, the reason I added that additional stuff is the timing right now. Our financial reports were due September 4th, so there was not a lot of closing out for the year. These statements are missing quite a bit of information. There's a bunch of revenue that still needs to be placed from an accrual standpoint, and of course, the payroll accruals, which there's some very large numbers, approximately $3.6 million that still needs to be entered. Looking at how close they are now, though, we can see right now where we finished with $65 million in revenue and $65 million of expenditures, knowing that everything was going to be extremely close this year. And we continue to be close as we close out the general fund this year. August food service report. We had $8.6 million budgeted. We brought in $8.8 million, $200,000 to the good on the revenue side. The expenditures, we budgeted 9.6, once again, $1 million deficit on purpose as we were trying to spend more money. We didn't get everything spent, but we also have a budget amendment coming up to help us get some of the things that we didn't spend last year in this year's fiscal year. But we did exceed our expenditures, $8.9 million compared to the 8.8 in revenue, and that was by intention. Yeah, we've been looking at doing that. Debt service, very similar revenue coming in at 9.4 and expenditures being 12 million. Once again, that was the additional $5 million that we defeased or we paid off early. Much of that money came from a fund balance, so we're actually spending money that was in our savings. So it wasn't money we budgeted or expected to come in this fiscal year, but it was money in savings in order to pay off that $5 million of debt early. And that's all I have for the financial reports.
Any questions for Mr. Carrales? Okay, thank you, sir. Don't go too far, sir. Okay, new business, item 1, discuss and consider approval of the 2025-2020 or 2025-2026 debt service fund budget amendment. Superintendent?
Mr. Board President, a budget amendment for debt service is required to ensure an accurate estimate for the debt defeasance. This amendment will allow the district to properly account for the financial impact and maintain compliance with reporting requirements. And we have Mr. Carrales with a presentation.
Welcome again, sir.
Good evening again. This year, we plan to defease debt again. Historically, in the past, just kind of let the board know, I brought this budget amendment at the end of the year because we know how much our tax collections are at the end of the year, and that gives us a better idea of what we're planning to pay off early. TEA takes two numbers that they look at. One is they look at our PEMS numbers when we report our budget in October, and then they look at what our tax collections actually are, which forces us to have this amendment earlier this year. So we're trying to estimate exactly how much, or a lot closer to how much we're actually going to defease earlier. So that's the reason for this debt service budget amendment. We're asking to increase the budget by $1.3 million on the revenue and expenditure side in order to defease these in August 2026.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Carrales on item 1? Any other discussion? Yes, yes, sir.
I know that Mr. Carrales has discussed this agenda item several times. But, Mr. Carrales, could you give the board and the staff and the community an idea of the 24-25 savings that was done through the defeasance, say on that series 2015?
On the 2015, we had approximately $5.5 million of savings. So off the debt service schedule, those were payments that would have been paid out, I think it was 5 additional years. Those payments have been paid off early. It was $5.5 million in principal, and I believe it was about 1.7 in interest that were paid off total. So that we benefited from having money, leaving the tax rate where it's at, and paying off our debt early. And if there's more information, we can always provide more information on the bond schedule. We can add that to a financial report to kind of update the board on what our debts look like, how many schedules we actually have out there, and what money needs to be paid. We can easily bring that to the next meeting.
It might be a good idea just to show the full report, kind of the long view, right?
Yes, sir.
Just so everybody's aware where we're at and how we're looking and how we're paying off our debt really well.
Yes, sir.
So I know there's been a lot of work that's gone into it, so it hasn't gone unnoticed, so thank you for that. Any other discussion or comment? Okay, at this time, do I have a motion for item number 1?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 debt service fund budget amendment number 1.
Thank you, Mrs. Lisa Salazar makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Brandon Olivares seconds. Ms. Olivares?
Yes.
Mrs. Aguirre Robles?
Yes.
Mrs. Farias?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales Garcia?
Yes.
Mrs. Salazar?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
I just know this, yes, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Next item, discuss and possible approval of the 2025-2026 Child Nutrition Budget Amendment Number 1. Superintendent?
Mr. Board President, a budget amendment to the Child Nutrition Fund is necessary to reconcile an expense incurred during the previous fiscal year and ensure it's accurately reflected in the current year's budget. This adjustment will maintain proper financial reporting and compliance with the accounting standards. And we have Mr. Carrales and Ms. Ramirez with the presentation.
Welcome, Mr. Ramirez. Mr. Carrales?
Last month, we brought an item, and it was approved. The work was not completed by the end of August. We needed to move those expenditures into this year's budget in order to pay for that project in this year.
Yes, so we are requesting the approval to authorize a budget amendment for the current fiscal year in the amount of $180,000 to complete the middle school's cafeteria renovations.
Thank you. Any question for Mrs. Ramirez? And it's exactly 180,000?
180,000, yes.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 Child Nutrition Budget Amendment Number 1.
Thank you, Mrs. Salazar makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Farias seconds. Mrs. Olivares?
Yes.
Mrs. Aguirre Robles?
Yes.
Mrs. Farias?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales Garcia?
Yes.
Mrs. Salazar?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
And yes for Jesse Hernandez, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on to discuss and consider possible approval of the 2025-2026 General Fund Budget Amendment Number 1. Superintendent?
Mr. Board President, a budget amendment to the general fund is necessary to ensure the budget accurately reflects the 4% staff increase. It's 4%. This adjustment will maintain proper financial reporting, align the budget with actual spending, and support effective fiscal management for the district. We have Mr. Carrales with the presentation.
That's a complete description. We were trying to make sure we had to adopt a budget by function when we came to the board. And due to the fact we didn't know what raise was going to be given, we adjusted it appropriately.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or discussion?
I just want to thank him for all the work that you did, and you did let us know that this was going to come back and actually be changed because of the raise. So,
and I would just like to add, I know from a budgetary perspective, and this is more for staff and for the community, I know that it was an additional expense, but I think you've heard this board state in the past that, retaining top talent is important to us. And we've also stated in the past that don't shy away if it's going to cost more money, that's for us to find it and try and make it work. So I think that's a perfect example of that, and thank you to my colleagues for the work that they do to support that. And thank you to everyone on staff and for all of you for your hard work to do it. Just considering everything going on and districts doing different things, I'm very proud of the things that we've been able to accomplish. So, but it's easy to do it, if I'm being honest, because of all the great work that each and every one of y'all are doing. So thank y'all so much. Okay, with that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 General Fund Budget Amendment Number 1.
Okay, Mrs. Lisa Salazar makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Mary Silva seconds. Mrs. Olivares?
Yes.
Mrs. Sangre Robles?
Yes.
Mrs. Farias?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales Garcia?
Yes.
Mrs. Salazar?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
And I just unanimous yes, motion carries. Moving on to next item, which is discuss and consider approval of the quarterly board self-evaluation. That one is mine. From a community perspective, if y'all will recall, on a quarterly basis, we do go through a board evaluation process, and this is tool that the Texas Education Agency provides for us, but really to show accountability in regards to the various goals and the work that myself and my colleagues on the board are doing for the district as well. So it's our report card, if you will. So we'll do this on a quarterly basis, and then this will also be posted on the website. Ms. Louan, is that right? To be posted on the website as soon as it's completed. So we'll go through that process now. Okay, the first one is on visions and goals. The board has adopted student outcome goals. On the last quarter, we had a total of 12, which is meets focus. And so for the meets focus, it's all board members and the superintendent agree that the student outcome goals, 1, will challenge the organization, 2, require adult behavior change, 3, are influenceable by the superintendent, and 4, are the superintendent's first priority for resource allocation. And then the board relied on a root cause analysis, comprehensive student needs assessment, or a similar research-based tool to inform the identification and prioritization of all student outcome goals. So we had that from the last quarterly review, and I think we're still good there. To shift over to the master focus to get to the 15 points, all board members and the superintendent, 1, have committed the vision and student outcome goals to memory. 2nd, know the current status of each student outcome goal. And lastly, agree there is broad community ownership of the board's vision and student outcome goals through involvement and communication with student, staff, and community members. I'll open it up for any discussion.
Are we already doing this part?
Yes.
Agree on the, what was it, 1, 2, 3, the third one, by bringing our mission and stuff before board meetings and community meetings?
I think that yes, that's part of it. I think there's 2-part to it.
Mm-hmm.
The second would be in regards to the community's knowledge of it and awareness of it. I think we're making progress. I think we still have some work to do there. So my recommendation would be to stay at a 12.
I agree.
Okay. Okay, moving on to our next one. Vision and goals number 2, the board has adopted goal progress measures aligned to each student outcome goal. On that one, we were already at the master focus, which is all board members and the superintendent agree there is broad community ownership of the goal progress measures through involvement and communication with student, staff, and community members. I do think we should stay there, and I will add, just from the different community meetings and different things, there's been a lot of dialogue directly tied to the progress measures, and superintendent and staff have done a really good job of sharing that with the community, and we'll continue to do that. In addition to myself and my colleagues on the board are also actively engaging through some time spent on each of those community meetings as well. So, any objections to staying at 15?
No.
So,
Good.
all right. Thank you. Moving on to vision and goal number 3, the board has adopted constraints. On that one, we were at a 9, which was a meet focus. So the 9, the board has adopted 1 to 5 board self-constraints. The board, where appropriate, relied on a root cause analysis, comprehensive student needs assessment, or similar research-based tool to inform the identification and prioritization of superintendent constraints. And all board members and the superintendent agree that the constraints will challenge the organization to focus on the vision and uphold community values. I believe we're still there, but if we shift to the master's focus, which is a 10, the board master focus, if all prior conditions and the following are true, so everything I just met and then the following. The board, in collaboration with the superintendent, has adopted 1 or more theories of action to drive overall strategic direction. All board members and the superintendent agree there is broad community ownership of the constraints through involvement and communication with students, staff, and community members. Now, I'll open it up for any discussion.
I think we're still working on that one. I don't think we're there yet, but we're close.
I agree, and.
Especially for the second one on there.
Yeah, for sure on the second one, but even the theories of action, I think we had done that some time ago, right? But we're just working on the second one. So we'll just continue to work on that.
If I may.
Yes, sir.
So one of the constraints is that we improve the ratings of each campus by one letter grade and not have any F-rated campuses. And I think that's an ongoing conversation that we've had with the staff, with students, with the entire district, and, you know, correspondence has been sent out. Our trustees have shared that during our community meetings. So I think that little by little, we're getting there. You know, I think the board should receive credit for having those discussions with everyone. It's very well known that our goal is to become an A-rated district, and that doesn't stop at all, at any time. But I guess, you know, if y'all want to continue to work on that and being more clear on that, but I think definitely the board is in the right direction and should receive credit, because that's something that y'all have done a great job of putting it out there.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I, like you, think that we need to be still a 9, that we're almost to a 10, but there's still a little bit more work to do.
I do think we have a series of community meetings coming up, right? And maybe after that, the next quarterly evaluation, that may just be enough to get us comfortable. I do, just from talking to different community individuals and feedback that I've gotten, they've noticed the changes, but not everybody, right? And I want to get to the point where it's just something that's fluid, right, across the board, and I think we're very close. I agree with Ms. Salazar, so we'll stay with a 9. Okay, moving on to number 4 for vision and goals. The board has adopted superintendent constraint progress measures. For number 4, we were at a 5, which is the master focus. So all board members and the superintendent agree there is broad community ownership of the constraint progress measures through involvement and communication with students, staff, and community members. Any conversation?
Yeah. We don't want to go down. We'll continue to improve on 5.
So I'm going to challenge a little here. So if on goal number 3, we just said we're a little short on the exact same thing, can be both on both of them, in my opinion. So either we on goal number 3, we're going to be there, and I guess it's from looking at it from the last board meeting, right? We were at a 5 for this one because it's the same measures, right, or same constraints, right? You see what I'm saying?
Goal 3 to go up?
So on 3, either on 3 we go up, or on 4 we go down. Is what I'm saying.
3 go up.
So, and that's what the superintendent was alluding to in his comments. Thoughts?
I'm in favor of going up.
I'm in favor to go backwards, because if we're not where we need to be, then we're not where we need to be. So let's have the honest conversation. So you're not going to go up in one area and down in another with that type, if we were already at a 5 or we were already at a 9. So we couldn't move up to a 10 because we're not there. If that's what you're saying, right?
Right.
So, but number.
Well, that's what we said before for number 3. And as I stated on the conversation for number 3, I think we'll be there next quarter.
Right, but on
But we're
number.
not there now.
But on this one, I feel like we've already mastered the 4 solid, and we moved up last time to the 5.
So Superintendent, question for you. So for number 3, it's, the board has adopted constraints. Number 4, superintendent constraints. Is there a material difference on those?
No. There's, the one constraint is that we not have any F-rated campuses. The second constraint is that we improve our rating from, the prior year and not go below it. So, and the theory of action on how do we get there, and I think there's discussions when we go over the progress and on the assessments and what y'all would like to see, that it be student-centered learner activities, hands-on activities, and make it engaging and fun for our students, and make sure that we have the training for our staff and that we hold everyone accountable. So that discussion is ongoing, but I think maybe where we're lacking is just actually specifying the theory of action and what it is, and stating that in our committee meetings with the community. But overall, I can see that discussion has taken place, and maybe the theory of action is the one that we're lacking. So I would say that it'd be okay to have that 5 and 4 and have that 9 and 3.
9 and 3 with knowing that we need the theory of action.
Correct.
And then on 4, staying at the 5 because we met those for both of them. Okay, that makes sense. So, we're in agreement at 5?
Because we haven't regressed.
Right.
So we're just digesting a little differently.
Yes.
I almost feel like these two should be flipped. Like, this should be 3, and the other one should be 4. I know that it's a TEA thing.
Oh, yeah.
But does that make sense? It almost seems like it should be.
In the order of how they,
It almost should be flipped, if that makes sense.
Any other discussion? Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next one, which is progress and accountability. 1, the board invests at least half of its time to improving student outcomes. We were at a 12, which is meets focus, which is 25% or more of the total quarterly minutes in the board authorized public meetings were invested in improving student outcomes according to the time use tracker. To shift over to master's focus, it would be 50% or more of the total quarterly minutes in board authorized public meetings were invested in improving student outcomes according to the tracker. Do we have an update?
We're not quite.
We're not. We're like 46,
It's just a hair from
47.
it, right, from last time?
47, I think. We're close, but,
Not there yet.
okay. So we will
So stay
stay at 12. Any other discussion or comment?
Can you make your meetings 5 minutes extra just on? So we can get over that hump, please.
So, all right. I'm looking at the audience and they're like, no.
Just 5 minutes.
All right, moving on to next one, progress and accountability. Number 2, the board evaluates but does not interfere with progress towards improving student outcomes. That one was a 2, which is approaches focus. And for that one, the board performs self-evaluations using the Lone Star Governance Integrity Instrument. Perform a self-evaluation no more than 45 days prior to the most recent superintendent's evaluation. We did that. And then evaluates the superintendent in part on the results and progress towards the student outcome goals and constraints using information within monitoring reports according to the monitoring calendar. To move us to meets, the board receives at least annually a report on the average cost of staff time spent on the governments using the staff use tracker. And 1 quarter ago, the board performed a self-evaluation using the LSG integrity instrument. And 2, voted to approve the quarterly progress tracker. So.
The second item, yes, the first item, no.
Yeah, we're still missing the staff use tracker.
Yeah. And so what do we need to do for the staff use tracker? Mr. Ramirez, do we?
So really, it's just a report on the time spent on reviewing the tracker and that we're meeting the tracker. Really, it does not incur an expense because we're not getting anyone to come and do this for us. We do it ourselves. So it's just a matter of us doing that report for the board.
Okay. So can we get that scheduled for next month and then just send it out? and then we'll catch it on the next quarterly update. And then for the masters, just so we know what we're going to after that, the board unanimously approved the current quarterly progress tracker, and then has not modified outcome goals, GPMs, constraints, CPMs, or targets during the cycle applicable to the annual superintendent eval, and considers superintendent performance as indistinguishable from system performance by evaluating the superintendent on only results and progress towards student outcome goals and constraints using information in monitoring reports according to the monitoring calendar. I think we're pretty close to that, so if we can get that report, I think we would shift from a 2 to a 5. So we're close. Okay, moving on to systems and processes. The board operates in a way that allows the superintendent to accomplish the vision. We were at a 12 prior to that, which was needs focused. Board authorized public meetings in the last quarter did not exceed an average of 4 meetings per month. Check there. An average of 3 hours per meeting. I think we're good there. An average of 5 other topics per meeting. I think we're good there. And the board has reviewed its existing local policies and only adopted local policies pertaining to board work. I think we reviewed those a couple of meetings ago as well. So we're good there. So to shift to masters, board authorized public meetings in the last quarter did not exceed an average of 3 meetings per month, an average of 2 hours per meeting, an average of 3 other topics per meeting. We're there, okay. And then board members received the final materials to be voted on at least 7 calendar days before the public meeting. We did that. And no edits to the board's regularly scheduled meeting agenda in the 3 days prior to or during the meeting unless a state of emergency was declared, right? All right, so we're good to go to 15?
Yeah.
Any comments or objections?
Nope.
All right. Great work, team. All right, next item, advocacy and engagement. The board promotes the vision. On that one, we were at a 1, preparing to focus. The board has a 2-way communication system in place where the board members at least once per year listen for and discuss the vision and values of their students, listen for and discuss the vision and values of their staff and community members. So we were there. To get to approaches, the board has provided time during regular scheduled board meeting, authorized public meetings, to recognize the accomplishments of its students and staff regarding progress on student outcomes and goals. We do that. And then host a community meeting to discuss progress towards student outcome goals within each feeder pattern with low-performing campuses during the previous 12 months. Have we done all campuses or areas?
We've done the presentations on all campuses and the ratings. What we haven't done is that we discussed the feeder pattern of specific schools going to the middle school, and then from there, of course, both middle schools go to the high school. So it would be a matter of, in my opinion, to separate the 2 elementary campuses that feed off to Matthey and the 2 elementary campuses that feed off to La Soya, and specifically go over the performance of those feeder patterns.
Okay. So can we get that aligned and then schedule appropriate community meetings for those?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So based on that, I think we'll stay at a 1. Is that, any objections to that? Okay, moving on to synergy and teamwork. The board works collaboratively and with the superintendent to lead towards the vision. For that one, we were at a 10, which was master's focus. So again, all board members and the superintendent have completed the Lone Star Governance Workshop. Agree that all board members have adhered to all adopted board constraints during the previous 3 months, and agree that no board member has given operational advice or instructions to staff members during the previous 3 months. And for this one, I'll do what I did last time, go with each one of y'all and ask you to agree. So I'll start with Ms. Morales Garcia, that you agree that that you have not given any operational advice or instructions to staff members during the previous 3 months. Okay. Mrs. Salazar,
I agree.
Okay. Mrs. Farias?
I agree.
Ms. Olivares?
I agree.
Ms. Sandra Robles?
Agree.
Ms. Silva? And I myself also agree to that. So we are good, and we're able to stay at a 10. 7.
We made it to a B.
All right. All right, so let me, Ms. Louan, were you doing my math for me? 81. All right. Okay, so we went from a 78 to an 81, and Ms. Morales Garcia's right, we made it to a B. So great work, team. Okay, so we have our targets for next meet, or next quarterly review, which we would do in about 3 months' time as well, so. Okay, at this time, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the quarterly review. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Farias, is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Farias seconds. Ms. Olivares?
Yes.
Mrs. Angel Robles?
Yes.
Mrs. Farias?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales Garcia?
Yes.
Mrs. Salazar?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
I just Hernandez, yes. Motion would carry. Okay, moving on to next item, discuss and consider approval of the waiver of penalties and interest applied to TAS account number 04012-000-1581 in the amount of $1,732. Superintendent?
Mr. Board President, an error was made by the Bexar County Appraisal District, and they are requesting that the district waive the associated penalties and interest. We have Mr. Carrales with the presentation.
Welcome again, Mr. Carrales.
Good evening. We received a request from Bexar Appraisal District where they acknowledge that they had an administrative error in a mailing address, and they're asking to waive the penalties and interest from one of the taxpayers.
All right, any questions or discussion? Okay, at this time, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the waiver of penalties and interest applied to account numbers 04012-000-1581 in the amount of $1,732.
Great. Mrs. Lisa Salazar makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Brenda Olivares seconds. Mrs. Olivares?
Yes.
Mrs. Angel Robles?
Yes.
Mrs. Farias?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales Garcia?
Yes.
Mrs. Salazar?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
And I just Hernandez, yes. Motion will carry. Okay, moving on to our next item. 1 second. Do you have a list of nominees by chance?
You would have to ask if anybody's interested to be nominated to be part of it.
Oh, it was in the pre-populated list. From Bexar County.
They haven't made their nominations.
Okay. Next item is discuss and consider approval of a possible nomination to the Berger County Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Were you asking about the ones that were exiting?
Yes.
Okay, they can put it.
So this is an item to discuss, to possibly either name somebody from this board to be considered for the Berger County Appraisal District Board of Directors, or choose not to nominate anyone to the board, and then they would put the ballot forward as well. So, any questions or discussion?
No,
Mrs.
but I make a
Salazar?
nomination.
Pardon?
I make a nomination.
You were able to do that.
Thank you. So I nominate our superintendent because he's the one that needs to be aware of all of this. Sorry. Sorry.
Is that nomination in the
Ramirez.
form of a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to nominate Mr. Rolando Ramirez,
It's
Superintendent of
actually,
Schools,
Okay, Mrs.,
for nomination to the Bexar County Appraisal District Board of Trustees, or Board of Directors.
okay. Mrs. Lisa Salazar makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Mrs.
Sorry,
Morales
sir.
Garcia seconds. Olivares? Mrs. Unger Robles,
Yes.
Mrs. Farias,
Yes.
Mrs. Morales Garcia,
Yes.
Mrs. Salazar,
Yes.
Mrs. Silva,
Yeah.
and I just Hernandez, yes. Congratulations, sir.
I guess it's one of those times that you want to be delinquent in one of these. So you don't meet the criteria.
Sorry, sir.
I'd be sad too.
Okay, at this time, the board will adjourn to a closed meeting in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.074 and 551.076 to consider the following. Item A, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, discussion regarding board member duties, roles, and responsibilities. And item B, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property pursuant to Section 5541.072, I think it's 551.072 of the Texas Government Code. The time is now 7:05 PM, and we are in closed session. Okay, good evening, everyone. The time is now 7:58 p.m., and we are coming out of closed session. At this time, do I have a motion for consideration for item A?
I make a motion that we do not accept entering into an MOU agreement with SCI.
Okay, Mrs. Salazar makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Brenda Olivares seconds. Okay, Ms. Olivares?
Yes.
Mrs. Unger Robles?
Yes.
Mrs. Farias?
No.
Mrs. Morales Garcia?
Abstain.
Mrs. Salazar?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
I just Hernandez, yes, motion carries. Next item, item B. So I just Hernandez will make the motion that we adopt the resolution opposing a rezoning request before the San Antonio City Council, zoning case Z-2024-107-00230, and the development of a cemetery, columbarium, or mausoleum as presented by the superintendent, and attach said resolution to the minutes of this meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, Justin has made the motion, Ms. Lisa Salazar second. Mrs. Olivares?
Yes.
Mrs. Sandra Robles?
Yes.
Mrs. Farias?
No.
Mrs. Morales Garcia?
Abstain.
Mrs. Salazar?
Yes.
Mrs. Silva?
Yes.
I just yes, motion carries. Okay, at this time, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Salazar seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the time is now 8 p.m. and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.